Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Jan Roberts again, and I promised that at least twice a week I would come out with some good news because I think you only have to switch on the telly, I assume. We haven't got one, and there is a reason for that too, but you only have to switch on the telly and get more sad news every single day. Every single minute, every single hour of the day, the radio will be full of it. So there is an awful lot of bad news, but there is also an awful lot of goodness coming out of this, believe it or not. And I checked the statistics this morning, and officially at the moment there is 1.1 million cases around the world, with 60,000 deaths, and 234,000 people have already recovered. So again, the recovery is also there. The reason we're finding a lot more cases now as well is testing is getting done at a much higher rate as well. Here in South Africa, I can't say sunny South Africa today because it's been raining pretty hard since yesterday. You can see a little bit out there. And it's a bit like a summer's day in Scotland actually, because the temperature for me is not too cold, but I mean it's as they would say in Scotland, gay wet. So yeah, and here in South Africa there has been now just over 1,500 cases with just 5 deaths, and I say just, but I mean every one of them is sad. And I looked at Harvard Health and some other kind of areas where I could get some good statistics and some good news as well, because I think we can all do with a bit of good news every now and then. Many of you are now sitting at home for I think this is the end of the first week here in lockdown in South Africa, and many places have had lockdown for a lot longer. And tempers might run a bit high, and people getting a bit frustrated and still worried, and the fear is still there because we still don't know when this will end. And as I said as well, I do some trainings as well, and in that I say, we need to don't look at when this will end at the moment or how long this will last, but how can I grow through this, so by the end of it I've used this as a stepping stone. Whether you're gonna you learn something new, you practice some stuff with your kids, you are gonna do some different things in your family life, and also maybe you want to learn a language, maybe you want to finish some projects that you can do with the internet. I mean, this is the time you can do it, because we've got time, and don't waste all the time by just complaining and sitting there and adding to the bad news that's happening everywhere. So I will give you some good news here, and most people, and that came from the Harvard Health News, 99% will recover from this virus. Now, of course, that leaves the 1%, and it hit home a bit 2 days ago when one of my dear friends from is Argentinian, and he lived in New York, and suddenly I chatted with him 3 weeks ago, but two days ago I got the news that he passed away as a victim of this virus, and it came as a shock, and it just brings it home. I mean, I hope most people will not be affected personally by this, but I mean it shook me because I've known him for quite a while. He was an amazing gentleman. His name is Francisco Fuertes, and there's a whole team of John Maxwell team members who know him as well, and we will all miss him. But I mean, it's sad when it happens. We know it happens a lot, but when it happens to people it really brings home the seriousness of this. I mean, we haven't thought about it before so much. We see it on the television, so we can't take this lightly. That's what I'm saying, and it's very sad that it happens. And my condolences to any family members and friends of people who have the same happening. And I feel for them, and it's sad, but we need to actually be very careful and also become, as much as possible, become more positive about the situation, because it's going to help everybody, including ourselves. It's going to help everybody around us. And children seem to be less affected and less often with milder cases. But be aware though, young people, including, I've just heard from a friend of mine in Mauritius that a 19-year-old died there, and a 21-year-old in the UK have died as well. So young people are not immune to this. And quite often a situation, but don't think as younger people that it won't happen to me. You might even carry it without knowing it and spread it to others if you don't keep this social distancing. That's why it's so important that we all work on this together. So but the CDC news said that it is mostly adults, and we know the classes, and when the number of cases, new cases, is falling where the outbreaks began. I mean, there is still in Wuhan the reports no new cases, but again, it's not news to be complacent with, but it's good news. Because if we look, I just checked what I didn't even know. I was speaking to people from Spain, and they are terribly affected by it just now, with 15,000 new cases and a death rate more than most other places, which is very sad, more than Italy. And of course America's got 250,000 cases by now, more than 250,000 cases. So it is not under control yet, but I mean, more people are getting monitored, more people are getting tested, and more people are recovering from it as well. Yes, we've got 60,000 deaths around the world now. We can't put it in perspective, but I know the flu normally every year kills between 300 and 700,000 people. So it's not comparable, but well, of course, we every death is one too many. That's why we need to be so careful. But to spread more fear and panic about this doesn't help anybody. We just need to be careful. We all know what you need to do, and we have to do it together. But the thing is also we can connect via the internet. We many of us who have internet, most of us have internet in the Western world at least. There is a lot of places yet that have no access to either electricity or internet. So, even those people are even more distant from all of this, maybe also from all of the news that's happening. But we can and we must connect using the internet. Even sending messages out to friends and family, and just connecting in groups. And how are you doing? Just every little message helps. So the good thing is from this will come that the response to future pandemics should vastly improve. I mean, we've had SARS and we've had other health issues on a global scale, but never on this scale. So, there is a lot. I'm sure the scientists and the people who need to will learn a lot from it. So that is good news. I mean, it's sad that it's happening, but we need to look at some of the good news that will come from it. And many people and organizations have stepped up to improve situations for their people and their fellow citizens. I also saw, for example, Uber. I just saw a little bit of news earlier on. Uber just have promised 10 million free trips, and that includes a lot of trips to bring food to the people at the front line, like health visitors, all the health workers, and I know in communities, again, I keep seeing this, the communities, how people have stepped up and they have actually brought food and necessary items and medicines to the people who can't get out of the house, or also to ensure that not too many people go to shops and all these kind of places. But many times it's people who are stuck in the homes, who can't get out, and they are getting helped in vast numbers by all these volunteers. So volunteers, all of you, well done. It's great news that so many people around the world, by the hundreds of thousands, are stepping up and doing their bit, doing a bit, and we can all do our bit. I mean, for many of us, it means just staying at home, just making sure that we do the cleaning of our hands and don't touch our face, and use hygiene as much as possible, social distancing, and if we have coughs and things, if we need to wear a mask, so be it. But I mean, it's something that we can all do together. And then I actually saw in Italy, the African migrants are getting healthy food to the Italians. The fruit and vegetable pickers who always migrate from the south, from Africa, they are now in high demand because they're helping people to start eating healthier. And sometimes people used to walk past them in the streets and never give them a second note. But these people have also stepped up. The African migrants have stepped up and bringing this healthy food to the Italian people now. So it's great news, and people are continuing to recover. And I say that, and countries are containing the viruses. There is now, with the lockdown now and people not being able to fly. I mean, my flights from South Africa back to the north of Scotland have been cancelled at the moment. But I mean, it is safety conscious people who have taken difficult decisions. I mean, leadership at this time, we will see some great leaders who are already stepping up, and some other leaders who should step down. But I'm not going to get into politics or any of that. But I mean, and the good thing is it's leaders at all kinds of levels, at community level, at family level, at city level, at country level. They're all stepping up and they're making difficult decisions, but they're making right decisions. And I know not everybody will be happy with the decisions that are going to be made because it affects people. I mean, I said, even here, President Ramaphosa, when he actually talked about the lockdown of people, there was people who said, oh no, this is no good. It's going to affect us, and what about our businesses? And now we cannot go out anymore and do what we always did. No, we can't do what we always did. We will never do what we always did in the same way after this is over anyway. But those are difficult decisions, and that's why sometimes leadership is a lonely job. But there is a lot of people they get information from, and they've had examples from other countries where when they didn't take the right decisions at the right time, it ended up much worse than when they do. So, this lockdown is unpleasant for a lot of people, but if that's the worst we ever have to do to help save our fellow man, then I think we're doing a good job. So also, in laboratories and medical organizations are working on vaccines with great prospects from Israel and Netherlands. And there's also, I just saw in the UK, they've got a gene expert analysis machine. Now this machine will now give results in 45 minutes. When it first started, it took 2 days to get results on the coronavirus test. Then it was 2 hours. Now within 45 minutes, those machines are given results. So the quicker we get results of people, the better we can help those people that have or they can help those people that have the coronavirus, and everybody will be safer because all this testing is done. And by the end of this month, in the UK, they promise with these machines to do 36,000 people will be tested every 24 hours by the end of April. Now that's an amazing result. And the more people get tested, the more we are going to be sure that yes, of course, we'll find out more people who have it, but also we can help those people, or the doctors and nurses and all the care workers can help those kind of people, isolate them. Ventilators are now getting delivered by the thousands around the world, by the hundreds of thousands around the world as well, because they're very necessary. But all this help is working. And the one good thing about it is we are connecting more. We are I think over the last years we've been more disconnected and more connected just to our electronics and to all the high technology. We've been talking about robotics and all this kind of stuff, and we were starting to miss the human touch. And I think it's as I said already, the stories that are coming through from around the world, even without the television. And I look a lot at my area where I come from, around about Invergordon, Alness and Tain and those kind of areas in the Highlands of Scotland. But there is people at work, and that is one example of a community. And I know there are so many people in communities who are doing a lot. They ensuring that people are not suffering more than they have to, and that they provide services, that they provide help to the people who really need it right now. And when they do that, also when you have challenges at the moment, if you put your focus on other people, I think it takes a challenge away from you a bit. And when this is all over, I mean, yes, a lot has to be worked through, but until this is all over, we can at least work together. It is the simple truth at the moment is we cannot control the world around us. We can only control what is happening to us. The only thing we have 100% control over is how we deal with the circumstances we find ourselves in. How we actually work through this. And also we've got a lot of control how other people will feel around us in these circumstances, whether they're close or far away. So I think it's wonderful. There is a lot of good news in this, people. When you look around, I said the last time as well, there's people getting very anxious with all the news that is on the television, with all the negative news that's on the radio, with all the negative people are only talking about. I said, well, okay, do what I did and go and start looking at some good news, because there is a lot of good news about. And I think, it's so necessary that we actually embrace the good news. We know that. I think if you haven't figured it out by now, there was a lot of fear, a lot of panic, and a lot of stress and anxiety just now. And there is a lot of people who are very lonely because of this, because they feel they were alone before, and now even more so. But I mean, we all can do our bit to connect more. And when we have opportunities, we are in a lockdown. We can't even go out of our front door anymore. But when we have these opportunities to go and spread some joy and help other people, and smile to people, and the best thing is not to complain as much and be negative about the situation, but speak into some positivity, because positive will come from this. We will get through this together, and as long as you can become a little bit more positive, I'm sure it will be working for you a lot better than all this negativity, and people will eventually want to be around you a lot more as well, because as I say, we don't have to add to the negativity that is being spread as we speak. So that's why I say, okay, let's bring out this kind of good news things. People are recovering, more cases are getting discovered, but more people are recovering as well. And let's just take care of ourselves. Let's take care of the people around us. And my question is, what are you going to do with this crisis? Are you going to go through this crisis complaining and looking at the negative, or are you going to grow through this crisis? And that's going to be a personal choice. We all need hope as well. If you've heard, I have been working through 5 values this week already. At around about 4 o'clock, I've taken a value every day of the week, especially those that are so necessary just now. And I started with listening, the value of connection, the value of restraint, the value of forgiveness, and yesterday I did the value of self-esteem. And this afternoon at 4 o'clock, I will talk more into the value of hope. So I hope you will join me. I hope you get something positive out of this. I hope you will do something positive for yourself and for the people around you and for the community at large. Let's be more positive together, because we will get through this together. This too shall pass. And we need to never forget the people who are fighting for their lives just now, the people who are stressed out, the people who have lost loved ones through this crisis and during this crisis from other cases as well, because a lot of that is happening as well, and we cannot forget that. But at the same time, we also need to try and become more positive and have hope. As I say, I'll talk about hope later on. If you want to know a little bit more about this whole value of hope, join me at 4 o'clock. And I'll talk into that, and I hope you have a safe and healthy weekend. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay connected. Take care.